Hey everyone, good afternoon. Thanks for joining us today on our podcast. Get my screen share up here. Perfect. We're running a little behind today. Sorry about that. It's been super busy around here. Thanks for joining us today. Today we're going to cover, I feel like, and hopefully this data will show a very powerful system for getting more leads, the Google Maps playbook. And this is going to be specifically for plastic and cosmetic surgery and medical spas. There's three main areas we really focus on here as aesthetic marketing partners. That's going to be driving leads with organic SEO, paid search, optimizing your database. We want to maximize conversions for when people actually get to your website. This is stuff you could be thinking about on your own and have your own marketing team or your current agency, or even if you have some knowledge of this. These are all three great areas to focus on. But maximizing conversions through website, reputation, automation tools for conversions. That could be like text message follow-up, using a CRM, and then optimizing results, really focusing on that data to prove what ad budget you're spending, and what money it's actually making you, getting an average cost per lead, and of course, adjusting your total spend based on ROI. There are a lot of moving pieces of this puzzle with marketing advertising. We have an accelerated growth roadmap, and we cover 9 main areas that we focus on. Like I mentioned, driving leads, maximizing conversion, optimizing results are the 3 main sections. And then under those, we're gonna have organic. We drive leads with organic, with paid Google search ads, of database optimization, maximizing conversions, website, reputation, getting lots of reviews, automation, getting those follow-ups really quick for people that are engaging with your business, and optimizing the results, getting that total spend of what your total investment in marketing advertising is, getting that honed in to find your sweet spot. Ideally finding out your average cost per lead, and then showing a return on investment. That's, of course, for every dollar you spend in marketing advertising, you need at least $2 back, ideally $3 back. Digital dominance method. So of course, today we're going to talk about optimizing your Google Maps and showing the power of having your business in Google Map results. There's a lot more that goes on for marketing advertising. I'm sure you've already experienced this. In fact, it's one of the negative connotations with marketing advertising agencies. I've been doing this a long time, and there's always a negative connotation that it's snake oil, or it's especially SEO. People don't understand it, but there's a lot of moving pieces of this, and you're always having to test, retest, check, have data to help, show you what's working, what's not. But, SEO, pay-per-click advertising, retargeting, so people visit your sites, follow them around the internet, paid online directories. That's all of the different like local directory listings, your email marketing and social media follow-up for repeat referral business. Of course, media with all the social media options you have now from TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and then programs like gift cards. Those do really well for med spas, especially. All of that goes back to your website. So this is one piece of the puzzle we're going to talk about today. If you're really serious about growing your plastic cosmetic surgery practice or med spa, the next 30 to 60 minutes, it could change your business. You might already be an established business. We worked with practices that have 8 main surgeons, 30, 40 plus employees, large practices like that, all the way down to owner operators that are, one injector, or one plastic surgeon only. I've seen across the board, all of them can benefit from this. Even ones that are working with current agencies, a lot of them are missing these nuances and details. So if you can focus on this, even if you're watching the replay, I guarantee you're going to see a result from this. And I guarantee you'll learn something that you previously didn't know that can help your business grow. What we will cover today, the latest updates with Google Map listing, 5 biggest issues that could be preventing you from ranking, our proven model for ranking in the map pack, that's the Google listing map pack, and the best tools for systematizing and automating the heavy lifting. Who am I and why should you listen to me? I've personally worked in virtually every aspect of marketing advertising since 2007. My background is personally in computer science, started by building websites freelance, started my first agency in 2012, multiple Addy award-winning agency, and worked with businesses all across the country, even some international. Throughout that time, I've seen some of my favorite clients to work with, to be honest, were aesthetic clients. So plastic surgery, cosmetic surgery, med spas, dermatologists, great results. And to be completely honest, it's more recession proof. And with 2020, it was a time for me to add to my agency. I still have my original agency I created, but it really spurred me to create aesthetic marketing partners and build a systematic set of services that will actually provide a return on investment. Over the years, I've made tens of millions of dollars for our clients. I've made some money along the way as well. And I've grown practices just like yours across the country. Here's a slide that obviously shows some more brands. I probably should have forwarded that as I was talking about myself, so this looks cooler, but here we are now. Our mission here is to triple the sales of 1,000 aesthetic practices in non-competing territories. That is a very lofty goal, but that is our mission. We've identified these territories across the US, and our goal is to not have them be competing, because we don't want to have two med spas in the same city, because that's just going to work against each other with our proven methods for SEO, pay-per-click, really getting those leads in the door. So we pick one. When you work with us, we're only going to work with you. We'll not be signing on your competitors to help them as well. All right. So does Google Maps actually matter? So here's a local search result that was just pulled this week from Chattanooga Cosmetic Surgery. We're in Chattanooga, Tennessee, by the way. At the top, you're going to see the sponsored first ads here, some organic, the map listings. 44% of clicks and calls are going to come from this map listing. So what we're finding now is a lot of people are actually scrolling past the pay-per-click ads. I'm not saying it's not worth to have pay-per-click ads, but I'm saying this 44% here, you definitely need to show up there to try to get those clicks as well. Ideally, you should be in all of them, but depending on your budget, how much you can afford and spend, the maps, if you can optimize that, that shows for free. You can also pay to return in maps as well, but showing there for free, it's one of the newer, top of the page SEO areas that you want to focus on. So yes, in short, Google Maps does matter. Let's look at some of the results here. And really, this is more the idea of how you should be calculating in your own practice, your budget, what sort of return on investment. The areas that we look on, and some of this depends on how much automation they have set up, how many funnels they have running. But basically, we want to look at organic calls. So that's coming from Google Map listing, some sort of organic listing somewhere. You can track that with, you get that from Google My Business, or you can get that from tracking phone numbers that you install. We want to look at total PPC calls. That's your pay-per-click ads, like Google ads. You can put a phone number in that ad, and we'll track those as well. We really want to look at your Google Maps calls. And you can see here from these slides, there's 4 of them here in a row. We'll kind of shuffle through them. Is making up a large part of these total leads. What I've seen practices not really think of, over the years of working with various practices and various sizes, I haven't seen them really think about how many leads and breaking it down to a total cost per lead that they're spending to get a true idea of what their marketing budget should be. It's more like, well, we just need a great social media presence. And I agree, every practice needs a great social media presence. But thinking through all of these numbers as well is very important, and coming up with a formula to say that I created 2,249 leads this month. My total investment was $2,490. My average cost per lead is $1.11. That's super cheap, and in most markets unheard of. Anyway, all that said, and this example here, 300 organic calls, 181 PPC calls, Google Maps led over twice of any of the others. So yes, Google Maps does drive calls, does drive leads, gets more traffic to your website, and gets you more customers. It's definitely an area worth focusing on. So today, we're gonna go over some of the biggest changes in Google Maps. So it's changing all the time. Again, I've been doing this for a long time now, 15 plus years, and it changes every year. I'm having to always go to conferences, always watch other webinars, some other leaders in SEO, and constantly stay on top of this. This is kind of where the negative connotation comes with marketing advertising people, because it feels like we're just always making shit up, to be honest. But the reality of it is, what you were doing last year may not work this year. And that's just kind of the rule, the psychology of getting to the consumer for one, but also the rule of the algorithm changing in Google and having to stay up to date and make sure you're bettering your competitors. So some of the main changes, they went from 7 map listings down to 3, sometimes 4. The 4 thing kind of cracks me up. I had to put it in there because some people might call me out and be like, hey, sometimes I see 4. Like, sometimes I do too. And depending on your industry, that changes from 3 to 4, but they've reduced the total amount. Google's serving paid ads and map results. So if you're running pay-per-click ads, you can select to actually show that your business listing, you attach it from Google pay-per-click ads over to your Google My Business listing. You attach those together, which is a way to do that at the back end. And you can actually show as a sponsored ad in the map results area. Google now suggests embedding a Google map into your website. If you have Google My Business, and I know we're here to talk about Google Maps, and I'm mentioning Google My Business, but as we go through this, you'll see how the two are so interconnected now. I mean, they're actually pulling your business listing for the map from Google My Business. If you log into Google My Business and you see the interface, you'll see on the next few slides, they have a lot of suggestions at the bottom. And one thing I've noticed in the industry, and other leaders have as well, they're starting to add these suggestions, and they're not telling us that, yes, it's going to get you more credibility. But from what we can see is that if they're making the suggestion, you need to do it. So embedding a Google map in your contact page at the very least, or even in the footer of every page, depending on your design, you don't want it to look obnoxious, of course. It can build more signals and give signal to Google that you have more authority, and therefore we're going to return you higher in the Google map. Also, another suggestion they've made, they just turned on live chat for Google My Business listing for desktop version. So people can actually live chat with you there. You can send that to a text message phone number. And if that routes through a CRM, someone could just text right back to it, or they can have Google My Business, your backend admin dashboard pulled up and give service during your business hours, answer questions right there. Excuse me. So let's look at these three areas. At the top, I mentioned before, we have the Google Ads area, and that's going to be, of course, your pay-per-click ads, where you're buying keywords like Chattanooga plastic surgery, and you want your business to come up. Of course, you're going to write an ad that has a great title to it, a description, have some sitemap links under it. And then you have Google My Business or the Google Map Pack area. Here you can see 3 results. Those return for free. As we mentioned in the slide earlier, 44% of clicks are now clicking on this map area. That's almost half the clicks of all of Google are happening in that map area. To get in that top 3 is going to provide a huge return on investment for your practice. And then just for clarification, right under that, it goes into organic SEO. Now, sometimes they move us around. Sometimes organic SEO might have a listing that's above map or vice versa. That's just a part of the algorithm that's always changing, depending on, I guess, the authority of that website organically, if it should be above maps. All that said, just a little education on what each of these areas is. Also, one thing to note here, local directory listings. You heard me talk about this. If you've watched any of the other webinars, it's definitely a section and a service we focus on for our clients. It's something you can do yourself, and I'll show you later in this webinar how to do that yourself. That's a listing that you can get your site on, like a Yext, like Yelp, Yellow Pages, those sort of sites. If you notice when you're doing organic checks, organic search checks in your area for Botox near me, fillers near me, breast aug near me, something like that, and you're seeing where your business returns, you'll probably see those directory listings depending on your area, the size of your city, and the competition. You'll see those directory listings high up as well. That's worth noting here because that's something definitely worth investing in, and I'll show you how to do that here in just a little while. So Google says it has reduced fake Google map listings by 70% since 2015. You can see from this graph here, we definitely do not want to abuse Google Maps and try to spam them. And there has been ways that have come up over the years where that worked for a while. One, I'm just going to jump to the bottom of these bullet points here. Do you have enough real reviews across the web? The reason I put, of course, real in all capital, you can go buy services, foreign services where people create all of these fake accounts and they'll go give you fake reviews. Google is not dumb. They have some of the smartest programmers in the entire world, and they figured out ways to track that and penalize you if they sense that it is fake reviews. You don't want to try to spam Google with fake locations either. We experienced this during COVID because I moved my company, had an office in Chattanooga and Atlanta, and I moved it remote. No one wanted to come into the office. I'm like, let's just go full remote. When I did that, I didn't have an address anymore. Closed down both offices, all the employees went home, and everyone was happy. I saw my SEO drop dramatically because I no longer had an actual physical spot on a map for me to verify my listing in Google Business Listings. If you try to spam it with a PO box, fake address, any of those sort of things, or some people have put a location. So say you're a surgeon that practices in a hospital close by, you may have a small office outside of town, and you just selected, instead of your office, you selected a location setting in Google My Business. You said, I'm in, New York area. that's not going to have the same authority and get the same results as having a physical office in the city. Inconsistent name, address, phone number. You'll see this label as NAP for short, the acronym for it. And that's going to come down to all the local citations and directory listings. Again, we're going to keep talking about that throughout this webinar. And it seems like such a silly thing, but Google has built in their new algorithm, double E is what it's called, EEAT. It stands for experience, expertise, authority, and trust. To build that trust, they want to see consistent name of your business. I mean, even down to how you call your business. Like, you want the name to be the same in every listing. The phone number and the address match across Yellow Pages, Yelp, Facebook, Google, Yahoo, Bing, and the list just goes on. There's hundreds of them. And then, of course, you don't want to spam your city in the company name for Google business listing. Some people used to do that, and that doesn't work. And it kind of loses trust with the consumer as well, because it just looks weird. So don't do those things. Our proven formula for getting ranked in the 3-pack. So we're going to go over 3 main points. Plus, I have some other suggestions. We'll also cover on-site SEO real quick. We had a whole thing about SEO the last webinar, went in depth on it. It probably made everyone just want to slam their head into a wall. It does me quite often, to be honest. It's so in depth and so many nuances. We'll just cover the top surface area of on-site SEO, off-site SEO, and also make some other suggestions that could help with your local link building around your community and getting the name out there. But the main focus of today is 3 main areas for getting ranked in Google Map Pack. So first, let's talk about just a suggestion to build your business profile, trust signals. So brand authority. We want to verify your Google business listing. They have multiple ways of verifying now. We just had a client in Iowa have to do a verification where they actually took their phone out and they walked from the outside of the facility, showed the keys going into the door. I'm not even kidding. Walked inside, showed them some of the machinery, video, and then upload that through Google My Business. When you do that, that actually gives you a higher level verification and a higher level trust. So if you're not verified, make sure to do that. While we're talking about it, we also just saw this come across pretty much all of our accounts. We now have to verify for all Google advertising as well, for every type of account. So if you're running pay-per-click ads, you need to check on that because they're requesting a verification. You can still run ads without verifying, but they're not working as well until you do verify. Total number of reviews is going to also build that trust signal. The review velocity, how often are you getting reviews? Ideally, every time a customer leaves your practice after having a service performed, they need to get a text message and an email requesting a review just to get your review velocity up. Recently unsuspended, actually a good thing. This is more referencing that if you were just unsuspended, that means you went through the verification process. They've talked to you. They've known that you're a real account. They really want to make sure there's no fake spam accounts in any of their Google Map listings, because they want to be seen as the authority for where a customer comes to find the service they're looking for. They want it to be Google. Backend engagement, so routinely updating or updating images, info, holiday hours. You'll see that suggestion like I mentioned earlier. And I'll show you the area I'm talking about here in a few slides. There's a bunch of suggestions, and one of them, have you updated your holiday hours? So 4th of July just happened. We went through for all our clients, added their 4th of July hours. That helps because the more you do that, the more you stay on top of it, the more Google tracks that, and they're going to say this company has their ducks in a row and they are higher trust, higher authority. We're going to trust to return them higher in our search engine. And then a completed profile. Like I mentioned before, this isn't just for small practices. It may seem like, well, yeah, of course you should complete your profile. Like, duh. We've had practices that are doing tens and tens of millions of dollars a year with 8 partners that didn't have a completed profile. And they had an agency before we came along. I'm like, how has no one seen this? But a lot of agencies and a lot of marketing people just haven't even paid attention to that, what they think is a nuance, what is a major, major deal to get in that 44% of clicks. Make sure your profile is completed with store code, logo, cover images, images at your office, before and after photos. You need to update those every month. Excuse me, a lot of talking. Local link strategies. This is about building links in your local community back to your website, also building some trust. This is also some brand building as well. Local sponsorships, sports teams, schools, clubs. There's brand awareness that can go out with that, but also you can have them link back to your website. The more links you have back to your website, especially from domains that have been around for a long time that have higher authority, the better your website is going to return, the more authority Google is going to say that you have. Hosting a local community event based on the event. So for one of our local practices, we do parties for Christmas, usually a party in the middle of summer, and advertise those events, have people come out from local news. Usually a couple of magazines come out local, do photography there. Then we ask them to maybe run an ad on their website, link back, write an article. That sort of stuff can help build those digital links back to your website. You can create a local resource page. So businesses that might support customers, say you're in a city, one of our clients is about 35 miles out of Des Moines, and they're trying to pull more customers from Des Moines. Well, one thing you can do is people are going to drive up that 35 miles to have a service done. Why don't you give them a place to have dinner afterwards, a place to stay if they're having some more invasive surgery or procedure done. A lot of people want to fly somewhere, drive somewhere, have a breast dog, tummy tuck, mommy makeover, and then stay for a weekend. You can build these resource pages on your website, link out to other sites, ask them to link back to you. Sponsor a scholarship, reach out to a school, especially if there's any sort of cosmetic schools in the area, and that could build kind of a referral program for even future employment opportunities in the area. Pitch a guest post local website in your area. Pitch guest posts to local websites in your area. So if there's any sort of local authors, writers, here we have like chadnugan.com, we have Nougat Today, we have Cityscope, all these different magazines that also have online sites. They write articles every day. Pitch them the idea of writing a post there, link it to their website, or even vice versa. You can be a guest writer for them. You have so much information that people could find beneficial for how to pick the best surgeon for a mommy makeover. When's the best time of year to have breast augmentation? Well, IPL, how long do I have to be out of the sun for IPL? Those sort of things can make great articles that you can write yourself in a short amount of time, or even have someone in your practice, a marketing person, an intern, write that. You sign off on it, submit it to a website, and build a link back and build authority back to your brand and your company. I mean, you can host, with the influencer marketing, host an interview with a local celebrity. You have a small micro celebrity, micro influencer in your area, bring them in, give them a procedure for a discounted amount, have them share it on their Instagram. That can build more, social media links back to your website. Now, jumping into the three main areas to focus on for optimizing Google Maps listing. You want to claim and optimize your Google Map and Google Business Profile listing. So make sure you have a login for your Google My Business account. It's the first step. Update your company name to read just your company name. You don't want to add keywords like your company name, Chattanooga, Tennessee, in the name of it, because that is treated as spam. Of course, add your website address. This is an important link back to your website. And since Google's high domain authority, Bing's high domain authority, Yahoo.com's high domain authority, each of those three sites, have a major domain authority that you can go create free profiles very quickly for your business and link it back to your website. Use a local number. No 800 numbers. 800 numbers look untrustworthy to Google. Use a local address. PO box, UPS store, those addresses will not work. Upload photos, as many as possible. Ideally, before and afters, any sort of campaigns you have going with discounts, coupons, the staff, your machinery, of course, outside the building, inside the building, all of those. As often as you can upload. For all of our clients, we suggest at the end of the month, send us any photos you may have made inside. We'll take them. If we need to edit them, we will, and we'll post them for you in the Google My Business listing, just to get you more optimized for that Google Map result. And then list your hours of operation and services offered and optimize those. So this is if you haven't seen this, I'm sure a lot of you have seen this, but when you're the admin of the Google My Business or Google Business Profile, that name has changed and they've been going back and forth, it feels like, for a while. This is the new dashboard that you see. And you'll see here, we're a manager for, this is one of our clients here that we just started with last month. We're working on optimizing their account. You can see up here, it says profile strength looks good, and it has a green circle there. That will give you your updates of how you're performing. And then down here at the bottom, you have get more reviews as one of these tiles, create an offer, June performance report is ready. And you can scroll to the right and you'll have suggestions like embed a map into your website, like I mentioned earlier. Go through all those suggestions and read through them. And a lot of those you can make very quickly. Like one of them is going to be turn on live chat. Turn on that live chat, send it to a phone number that can be text message during the business hours, whether it's a CRM phone number that routes in through your CRM, or someone that's at your front desk that has the ability to text during business hours. Turn that on, and that's going to help optimize this Google business profile. I've highlighted the add photo area because this is where you go to add photos. One question we get a lot is where it says on the right side here above Storm Cosmetic Surgery, it says add photos, and you see one image there where the woman's face is, kind of has a dark color over it. That is randomly selected. Typically, it's one of the first photos you upload. You can't tell them which one to make that. Wish you could, but that is kind of chosen for you. However, you can add more photos. They can click on that and they can go see more. Definitely add photos. Another area to focus on is where it says edit services, right under add photo and to the left one. That is a very important area. When you click on that, this is the screen that opens up, and you'll see here I've selected medical spa, skincare clinic, of course, cosmetic surgeon is the primary category for this client, surgical center, and facial spa. Now, why we selected those, there's multiple reasons, but one, of course, it's the services that they offer. It's also research that we did to identify their biggest competitors and their service area and what services they had in Google Business Listing. You want to ideally have 4 to 6. From the research I've done, it's kind of hard to find hard numbers, but the best I can tell, around 4.9 services is the best return for a business in Google in Google Business Profile or Google Maps. Meaning some people might want to spam this and just list 10, 20, 30 service categories. Ideally pick 4, 5, 6 at most. Now, if all you do is plastic cosmetic surgery, you don't need to have medical spa because you don't want to put that if you can't do medical spa procedures. That could be seen as spam as well. Once you add those, you'll see under this, you have surgeon additional category. Then you have facial spa. Facial spa has anti-aging facial, basic facial. That's where you can go and add subcategories and add services under your main service categories. That's where you can add Botox, fillers, IPL, all those different services. Most, in my experience, most practices, most med spas, plastic cosmetic surgery practices don't have this set up right. They have one category only. It's plastic or cosmetic surgery, and it's medical spa, and that's it. And they don't have any subcategories under it. This is something that right now you haven't done it, log in, do it as soon as this is over, and it is going to, in the next 30, 90 days, bring you more business, guaranteed. You can even copy this right here. If you're offering this category or you're offering these services, copy this exactly, add it to your Google Business Profile, and it's going to get you more results right now. So update your photos, add them on a consistent basis. We've talked about that. I think I've kind of hammered that home. Leverage Google Posts by posting at least once every 90 days. You can now have basically a blog on your Google business listing. You'll see that section if you scroll to the bottom of the Google business listing. It can put add an update, or they have an option to add an update. What we do for our clients is we write at least 2 articles every month, depending on what they sign on for and where they are in their SEO timeline. 2 articles a month, and then we submit those out to a PR engine that builds backlinks. We also take that article that we write and post on their website, and we share that to Google Business Listing. We write a synopsis of it, and then we link it back to their website. We do that every month, 2 articles a month minimum, to build higher domain authority and get their listing higher in Google Business or in Google Maps, excuse me. Create a local resource page, like I mentioned earlier. Mention a number of businesses that your customers might see as a resource. Have them link back to your site as well. That can build more links back. Respond to reviews is incredibly important. It's another way to show Google that you're trustworthy because your business is interacting with Google's system and showing them that, oh, okay, they're actually here watching and monitoring all this. We can trust to show their business higher in Google Maps. But answer questions that gets posted. You'll notice there's a Q&A section now in Google Business Profile. Answer those as soon as possible. That's going to help not only Google show you or believe that you're more trustworthy, but also your customers see that you're answering questions. Excuse me. So number 2, we want to build citations and consistency for that name, address, name, address, and phone number. We use a combination of services here. Yext is one of the main ones that we use. We manage that for all of our clients. We go out, and Yext has a great API. API means they've connected right into Alexa, into Apple, into Siri, into Google Business, Yahoo, Bing, basically all of these you see here, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok. And whenever you go and add your business listing with even like holiday hours, like I mentioned earlier, you can log into Yext. Or if you're a client of ours, you can tell us, we'll log in and we'll make all these changes for you. Make sure you stay up to date on we're closed 4th of July, open July 5th. Update that instantly, push it out. All of those sites you're going to see you as higher trust level, returning you higher within their sites. The higher you are there, the higher you're going to be in Google as well. The more sites you have linking back to your website. So ideally, you should list on all of these that are applicable and have them linking back to your website. The more domain authority your website's going to have. You can do this on your own. You don't have to have an agency do it. There's multiple companies that can do it for you. You can also use an aggregator. So there's multiple aggregators out there. We kind of pulled the top 5 that we focus on: Data Axle, Newstar, Foursquare, GPS Network, and then Yellow Pages Network. Most people think Yellow Pages, man, I thought that died a long time ago. And yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I'm used to the old books, but the YP network has a data aggregator that pushes out your business information to hundreds of sites as well. So submitting to all these sites, keeping those updated, are going to build more links back to your website and increase that domain authority, which then increases your Google Business listing and Google Map result. So the best tools for citations. We personally, I prefer BrightLocal and Yext, and we use a combination of the two. BrightLocal will go out and they'll buy them for you. Not buy them. They will set them up for you. They'll give you all the login information, but if you ever need to make changes, you have to go and log into every one of the sites. So if they set up, I don't know, Foursquare or Yellow Pages, something like that, you have to go update that if you need to update for business hours. With Yext, you pay more, you pay every month, but Yext will automatically update all those for you. You just put it in one place in Yext and all of them get updated instantaneously. Others you can look at: WhiteSpark, Advice Local, Moz Local. Here they're great. We've just found the best 2 for us personally are BrightLocal and Yext. If you'd like to learn more about citations, get a report that shows you how many citations you currently have and the opportunity you have if you were to add more. Also, that report goes over on-site SEO, off-site SEO, competitors in market, how you return for keywords. Schedule a consultation with me. It's free. 30 minutes. We'll go over that report. The report's free for you to have afterwards. Just go to go.aestheticmarketingpartners.com and you can schedule that with me on my calendar. Citations best practice. You want to manually claim and optimize Google Business Profile. That's one of the main ones to start with. I'm sure all of you here have done that. Optimizing it, I imagine most of you haven't optimized it the best that you can, probably just because you weren't aware of all the different things that you can do with it now. Use a tool like Yext for direct API to 50 of the top citation listings. Ideally, we submit 100 to 150 citation listing for our clients, and then the aggregators on top of that, which continue to add more listings as well. And then leverage a tool like BrightLocal Citation Finder or WhiteSpark to find niche listing opportunities. Number 3, lots of real reviews. So you see a screenshot here from Sturm Cosmetic Surgery. And this is for organic search for cosmetic surgery practice. You'll notice in this business, Google Map listing, they actually have a preview of one of their reviews. All the staff are so nice and personable. The more reviews you get, the more trust that Google is going to give your practice, and the higher you're going to return, and the more likely you will be to return in that free section of Google Map pack. Not only that, you build more trust with your customers. The more reviews you have, the more they're going to trust that you're going to be a leader and that they're going to have a great service and great interaction with your business. Responding to those reviews are very important. Like I mentioned before, when someone leaves a review, leave them a response right back. Say, thanks so much. So grateful for a great review. Look forward to seeing you again here in 6 months to update your Botox, whatever it may be. Definitely work on getting more reviews. There's multiple tools out there for this. The biggest roadblock I see to most practices getting reviews, and to be honest, one of the reasons I started Aesthetic Marketing Partners, HIPAA compliance was one that I always saw, especially in plastic surgery and the board certification. And I mean, all of them, of course, have to be HIPAA compliant, but a lot of practices get nervous about, well, we don't want to spam them with text messages or emails, that sort of thing. But there's a way to do this that does not spam them. We have a CRM that we set up that is HIPAA compliant. It can request reviews from all of them. It doesn't share their information around the internet. It can be done right after they leave. But the biggest thing, even once clients of ours get our system set up to where it's automating that text message process and they're starting to see increase in text messages, increase in reviews, there will be a drop off potentially in the training of the front desk. And this is always a touchy subject because you don't want to pick apart a practice, to be honest. Like, we want to do our job and help the digital marketing and get more leads in. But there's also training that needs to be done in your practice to get that review process and make it, make it something that's consistent, make it part of your culture. Everyone knows that after they finish the service in your practice, they need to request a review. You can even make a call after the service to walk them through the review process. Building more reviews and recognition into your company culture is going to help everyone that works in your practice understand that reviews are so important. We're not going to let this customer not leave us a review. And if it wasn't a great experience, I hear that a lot as well. What if I had a bad experience? Typically, in my experience, if someone has a bad time in your business, they're going to go out of their way to tell everyone about it. Google, Better Business Bureau, Yelp, it's just going to keep going. Someone has a great time in your business. They have a great procedure, happy with the results. They can't wait to learn about it. They usually tell their girlfriends, boyfriends, whatever, over dinner, and then it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. You really need to ask for those great reviews because people usually don't think about leaving a great review for your business until you actually ask them to do that. So how 4 to 5 star reviews help? It can improve keyword rankings and local map pack. There are multiple signals tied to a review. Signals, as we'll go over a little more, I told you we would dive into some of the technical nuances of SEO and how the new algorithm affects map pack. So you have to bear with me through that. But basically, signals is one of the new terms that Google is using to identify higher ranking organic SEO. All that said, there's a bunch of words in there that damn acronyms and shit like that. More signals you can have back to your business, the higher you're going to rank in map pack and organic results. So definitely increases the number of conversions that occur when you have a plus over 4-star rating. And glowing reviews become marketing and link opportunities. So if someone leaves a review, that can be great for social media. Take a screenshot of that in the Google business listing. You can link to it, post it on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, send an email with a bunch of reviews, even on your website, embed those in your website and say, look at all of our great reviews from our med spa or from our plastic surgery practice or cosmetic surgery practice. And it makes a business look more credible to current potential customers. So those are the main 3 areas to focus on. And I feel like 3 things you could do right now to get a quick result. These are a little more in-depth. So say you're on this webinar, you're listening, you're like, Sam, I've already done all 3 of those. On-site SEO is the next step, combined with off-site SEO, which we'll go over next. We have a whole nother webinar that covers all of this. You can watch that. It was from last month. It goes into more in-depth details on what this means. But basically, for on-site optimization, your website's the center point for all of your marketing advertising. So you need a strong website, good content, user experience. You need the user experience to really match your SEO strategy. And then you want to leverage multimedia to improve on-page time. That means the more time that a potential customer is on your website, the higher authority that Google will give your website because it says, okay, they're spending time surfing through this website. Multimedia is going to mean that you can have videos that they can watch on your site. They stop, they watch a video for 30 seconds, even 10 seconds. If you can get that time higher and higher and higher, the more we're going to show your website and therefore your business is having authority. Pages for each of your services. This is absolute must. You have to have your services listed with a different page for each service. Excuse me. Ideally, you want to have each of those services laid out in site and organized for a sitemap that makes sense. So your domain name.com/medspa/services/Botox or fillers, whatever. And if you have a cosmetic plastic surgery site as well, your domain.com/plastic surgery/services/breast dog, whatever it may be. Pages for the cities that you serve, especially in larger cities like Atlanta, south of us. You're going to have Alpharetta, you're going to have Midtown, you're going to have Cobb, the list keeps going. There's all these, suburbs that are now basically small cities on their own. It can be worth it if your business is in the center of Atlanta to have an Alpharetta page on your site that has those main keywords in the title in H1, plastic surgery, Alpharetta, Georgia. Plastic surgery, Cobb, Georgia. Plastic surgery, Midtown, Georgia. Every one of those have that title, have that city, and have a page just for it. Google will track that. You can share that, link back to it as well, build signals from that page, and pick up more customers in those areas like your practice is in Alpharetta, even though it's in downtown. Meta description that sells the click. So meta description is that section. You'll see this in the Google organic listing. So when you have a search result, cosmetic surgery practice near me, your business comes up and it has your business title. Under it, there's a description. Write a really good description that sells why someone needs to use your practice. Most, in my experience, most website companies or agencies let tools like Yoast just automatically pick from the design what's going to show. Yoast picks based on what's at the top of the page. And it may be something like, it doesn't even read legible. It could be, get more reviews. This practice is great. And it's reading from like a review at the top of the page, and it doesn't look right when returns in Google. Make sure your meta descriptions and meta titles are written correctly to really sell the click. Name, address, phone number in the footer. That's something that Google crawls for now. And then a blog with ongoing updates and syndication. That is huge. That's one of the main services we push for our clients. You need your website to be super fast as well. So it needs to load really fast on not just desktop, but mobile. We could do a whole webinar, and we will be doing a whole webinar just on that. The mobile part, there's a lot that goes into it, but 65+% of consumers now for every industry are on mobile phones. So you have to be optimized for mobile, make it load very fast. If you don't, not only will you return lower, but even your cost per click, if you're running pay-per-click ads, is going to be higher. So off-page SEO, this is going to refer to, like I've mentioned already, the citations. So if you hear someone mention off-page SEO, that's what they're referring to. So having lots of citations from Yelp, Bing, Yahoo, Google, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, the list keeps going. There's hundreds of them out there. Use those data aggregators, have them push more links of your business out to sites that have high domain authority, which means their higher domain authority will pull your website up as well in the listing. Claim and optimize your Google business profile, and then leverage multimedia to improve on-page time, like we mentioned. Build online reviews by leveraging automation tools, but more reviews, that's a form of off-page SEO now. Build authoritative links back to your site. I mentioned the higher domain authority, the higher site is going to rank in domain authority as well. And then have strategic content syndication. That's going to mean pushing content out like we do for our clients, and we'll send them out to a minimum of 50 different news sites. We'll write press releases for the articles that are on their site. We submit these press releases out to over 50 news sites. They link back. These news sites, it's not something that you may get. It may be something you go to, but it's more about building links back to your site, and they have higher domain authority. It's going to make your site return higher. That said, a simple blog post on your website won't cut it anymore. You definitely have to, we'll just dive into it here. So with Google's new authority generation approach, they've released the double EAT or EEAT new algorithm. It was just EAT, ironically enough. And then December last year, they added another E and they made it double EAT. This is something that is new, and a lot of agencies that are staying up with the times are having to reshuffle and rework this. It's something we're having to put for all of our clients in play now. They added experience. And so what that did for it is, how much does a creator have firsthand experience in the area being covered? Meaning, when we write those articles on your website, or the pages on your website, the content on that site, and we push them out somewhere else, we're building links back. But does the person that wrote that article really have the experience to have trustworthiness? As you'll see in the following slides, some different images to show you what all of these really mean. Trustworthiness is the main thing that they're focusing on. They want to build a trustworthy search engine that returns the best trustworthy businesses to make sure Google's always a #1 search engine. Experience means we can no longer write articles as the business name. We now have moved all of our clients or are moving all of our clients, because it's been a lot of work, to be honest, over to them being the blog author themselves. So if you're writing articles right now and you have them all attributed to, if it's on WordPress, WP admin or some random name, and there's no bio about the author on the website, you'll start being penalized here soon. And your results that you were receiving won't be as high because the experience won't be attached to it. No longer is it just about expertise. So showing the board certifications and having more links and all that back to your site. They actually want to see experience, what we're doing for our customers and what you can do for yourself. If you have someone in-house that can do this, or if you're savvy on WordPress or Drupal or whatever site you may be using, most of those frameworks have the ability to have an author page. Go ahead and turn that author page on, and either the practice owner, and it can be variable people. It could be an injector, it could be the surgeon, it could be the owner, and it can change. But make sure there's a bio page for everyone that's writing these articles, even if someone's writing it for you. Again, the main reason for this is because the new push of AI, and there's lots of artificial intelligence engines out there writing these articles and pushing them out. And so now it looks like everyone has mass experience, right? Like anyone could be, an expert in giving Botox, as it looks on a website, because they can write these great articles that are written by an AI engine. Now they want to see that bio page attached to it, and Google is now crawling to see who the author is and how much experience they have based on their bio. Apparently they're even looking at links from back to LinkedIn. So even on our site, we're pushing this for us now. Like, you can get to my LinkedIn profile through my site. The articles are originating back to me or McKinsey or someone else in my business. It's a higher management level, and they're going to be sticking around, more consistent work here, have articles written by them as well. And that's going to help build that trust and experience. Here's that image graphic that I was referencing. So here you can see it's kind of cheesy, but it gets the job done. Trustworthiness is being held up by experience, expertise, and authority. Experience, expertise, and authoritativeness is basically all the SEO tricks that we're focusing on now. That's why you're getting lots of citations back to your website. That's why you're getting lots of reviews. That's why you're optimizing your site to load fast on mobile. That's why you're optimizing your Google business listing, and you're following all the suggestions that Google has. All of that is going to support trustworthiness. Question we get a lot: what's the difference between experience and expertise with the new algorithm? You can be an experienced driver, 10 years of driving experience, or you can be an expert driver. They've won multiple races, professionally trained driver. You can be experienced by the law, because 7 road fines in the year, that kind of sounds like me actually, but I'm no lawyer. You can be expert in law. Just because you're expert in law doesn't mean that maybe you've had the experience getting lots of tickets. Both of them are valuable sides of the equation, and both of them are now needed for your website to be considered trustworthy. So this is actually taken out of Google guidelines. There's like a 159-page document now that was released, the updated one in December. This is one of the segments out of there. So the most important factors to consider when selecting an overall page quality rating: the purpose of the page. We want to make sure, like for instance, in the services, what is the purpose of that service page? Your company is presenting breast augmentation. and you want to make sure that you show expertise, authoritativeness, trustworthiness in that page, who originated that content. You want real content that's high quality. Again, you can put multimedia in there so they spend more time on that page. Website information, like I mentioned, website information about who is responsible for the main content. Have those authors listed. Most of you probably have a team page already, about page, something like that. And you have the main practitioners, doctors, injectors, whoever it may be. Go ahead and link those pages as author pages and make them the author of these articles. And that can solve a lot of this problem right there. Then website reputation about who is responsible for the main content. Again, basically just what I said. So this is right from Google itself, showing you that this is an important factor and everyone needs to be updating for this. Special local SEO ranking factors. Proximity, that's how close the business, we mentioned earlier, how close the business is for the person searching. So you don't want to spam, use like a UPS or PO box. I imagine everyone here has an actual practice location they're using. I imagine most of you aren't working out of your home or doing some sort of traveling remote thing or whatever it may be. So you probably already have this covered, but the proximity result is going to be if someone is 5 miles away from your business, that is going to help that ranking as well. You can go in and add service areas to your Google business listing. And I definitely suggest that as well. So go into Google My Business or your Google business profile, go to service areas and select the cities or zip codes around that you perform the services in. Ideally, driving range that makes sense. You don't want to go and put 150 miles out because that's going to be a stretch, and you don't really want Google trying to return your Google map listing 150 miles away. If they see they're not getting conversions there, that's the ultimate thing, Google's looking for. Not the ultimate. One of the big things we're looking for is if they're not getting conversions, meaning that they show you in the Google map pack, click on your business, it goes to your site. If that person doesn't go to your site and click a phone number, submit a lead form, open a live chat, something like that, buy a product if you have an e-commerce site, and they just bounce off your site, that's going to show that you have less trustworthiness and it's not a great business to return that map pack. Relevance. So how relevant is the search term for the business? Again, this can be optimized in the content of your site, the on-page and off-page that we mentioned, and then also adding the service categories in your Google business listing. And then prominence, what is the authority of a local business? So having brand mentions, link signals, number of reviews versus competitors, using syndication, like we mentioned, submitting these out to news sites, ideally that are linking back to your website, will dramatically improve the prominence of your site. So this was a lot. This stuff kind of makes everyone's head hurt a little bit. We do a free local SEO report for your practice. These are some of the main areas we cover. So links and authority, like we mentioned, see how many links you have. We want to see how you rank against your competitors for like your top 5 keywords, for instance, how you rank in local listings. That's how many sites are linking back to you locally. Your reputation manager, Google business profile audit, what you have or haven't done, and the opportunity you have there. Your on-site SEO, how many pages have 404 errors, that are broken, how fast your site loads, how your metadata and description page titles look. We give you a report on that. And then of course, social channels, how many you have set up as well. We also go through citation tracker and dive into each of those areas a little more in depth in this left sidebar. And this is a digital report that we give our clients. Every month they can check and see how the progress is going, but we also give during our 30-minute free consultation call as well. During that, like I mentioned, analysis of online visibility. We give a custom keyword list for most important search terms. We give you keyword ranking as well as far as volume of search and what's projected, and even year-over-year change for certain service categories. So if they see a trend that drops, Botox is not as high as it was last year for a Google keyword, I'm just using as an example, versus dye sport, then that can give you ideas of what you need to write about based on how trends are going. Give you analysis of online directory listings and consistency, ranking report where you're ranking currently in Google, analysis of your reviews, social presence, and the conversion effectiveness of your website. Almost done, I promise. you'd like to get this, you can go to go.aestheticmarketingpartners.com or call us at 423-777-6426. And we'll be happy to set you up either one of those, either the URL or the phone number, and we get you set up with a consultation. We also have an SEO checklist you can download on our website. You can give this to a marketing person in-house at your practice, or if you yourself are savvy with logging into your site, optimizing your H1, your URLs, your images, your website, or optimizing your Google business. Feel free to download that. It's free. Go to our website, aestheticmarketingpartners.com, download that. It's yours to have, and it'll help you grow your practice. If you want your practice on Google Maps, but you need help, that's what we're here for. Happy to even give you suggestions during that free consultation, and there's no obligation. We can help you, show you opportunity for your practice and how you can grow that, whether it's with us or without us. Ideally, it's with us, but call us 423-777-6426 or go to go.aestheticmarketingpartners.com. You also go to aestheticmarketingpartners.com and then select schedule consultation. That was a lot. Makes my head spin. Apparently I love this stuff. I mean, been over 15 years. Thanks for attending. And yeah, hope to talk to you guys soon. Hopefully it was beneficial, and we'll have another fun one coming up next month. We'll see what I say then, but hope you all have a good week, good weekend. We'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.